like it's the end of the world. We're gonna
Hello everybody, and welcome to part 2 of the Jetstream J41 tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about the FMC and the Payload Manager. Let's get started here. Alright, so first what we're going to look at is we're going to go ahead and take a look at the payload sheet. I'm not going to go into too much detail with it, but one thing you will notice is that it's pretty self-explanatory. Here's the passengers. You can change how many you want in each row. It'll give you sections and section data. It's all coded, so it pretty much does everything itself. You know, you change one thing, it'll change the other, things like that. I'm not going to mess too much with it. You can choose a jump seat if you want to, carry-ons. You change your flight duration. A lot of things like that. This is the main part that you want to look at, although that does affect your weight and stuff, and that's what this is mainly about, is simulating the weight for an aircraft. So this is your weight and balance worksheet over on this side. You got most of you got your bow, your ACM, your full weight, which you can't change. A lot of these you can't change. You can't change this one. You can't change that one unless you put in a jump seat. So you got your aft, your pod. These are your cargo bays. If you put them in there and then you open up the cargo doors, you will see that there's cargo in there. But yeah, that simulates, you know, cargo weight. And your closet, which is the carry-ons. One carry-on is equal to 10 pounds, which is a little much, but you know, it's just to even out weight pretty much. Your zero fuel weight, your fuel minus taxi, and your takeoff weight. Bunch of this other stuff I'm not really going to go into. It's you can't change it anyways, so don't worry about it. As I said, it's self-explanatory, but this is the main stuff you'll change. I'm not going to change it for simplicity of this tutorial, but if you want to be realistic and, you know, add weight to the plane, you can go right on ahead and do that. What we're going to look at mainly here is the fuel minus taxi. And to figure out your fuel, you want to come over to the throttle quadrant, and here's your fuel in each fuel tank, 11,065 in each. So you just want to take 11,065 and multiply that by 2. It's gone down to 11,064, so I'm going to take 11,064 times it by 2. That's 2,328. We're going to minus 100 for taxis, so that's 2,228 pounds. And so that's what you're going to put in here. So you get your fuel minus taxi, which is 228 pounds. 2,228, I mean, sorry about that. 2,000, yep. Okay, so there we go. And that's pretty much all I'm going to do with that sheet there. And we're going to mainly focus on the FMC now. To bring up your FMC, it's this thing right here. It stands for Flight Management Computer. That's just what most airplanes are flown by nowadays, not really by real pilots. I mean, the pilots are pretty much babysitters nowadays, or to be realistic. So what you want to do is you're going to bring up Shift 3, and it'll bring up the screen to the FMC. You're going to press on, and it'll do a self-test. It'll take about a minute or so to do. There we go. And once that is done self-testing, it'll come up with an initialization page, which it's just initialization starting up, you know. So you're going to press enter 3 times to confirm all that, and it'll bring up your active flight plan. So I have VRoute up right now, and it already has, I've chosen my routes, and we're going from Miami to MCO, Orlando. So first we're going to press departure, which is line select 4. Press enter, so it highlights it, you press enter, and then it'll highlight departure. So we're going from Miami, K-M-I-A. Enter twice to confirm. Then I like to choose my runway first, so line select 6, this button up here. Press it twice. And let's take a look at our data here. Wind 326 at 4 knots. So we'll take off at runway 30. That'll do. And press enter. And we said my route has Headley 1 to Headley for our trans. So SID Headley 1 So we're going to go ahead and press line select 3, so Headley 1, and it'll automatically bring up Headley as our transition. And press enter to confirm. And now we got our main part of the departure part of the flight plan done. We now have 2 pages of our flight plan, so we're just going to press the next button, which is right here. And you see the stars, that means you can enter it there, so we're going to press line select 1 to highlight it. And next we have an airway, which is V267. So enter airways, jetways, or whatever ways there are. You want to press the pound sign, followed by that number, which is VJ or whatever, I meant letter, VJ or whatever letter there is in front of it, followed by the number, which for this one it's going to be 267. Alright, and you're going to press enter, and it'll show you waypoints that it can go to. And for this flight plan, we are going to PHK. So press line select 2 twice to go to PHK. Enter. And there you go. So pretty much what we just told it is to follow the airway, which if you brought up a diagram, it would show a bunch of lines from intersecting at different points. And pretty much what we told it to do is follow a path from Headley to our next waypoint, which was PHK. So next we're going to put our next waypoint, which for my flight plan it's BAIRN. Enter, confirm, and you're done with the middle part of your flight plan. And now we're going to go on to arrival. So you're just going to press line select 5 and go ahead and press enter. We are going to Orlando, KMCO. Enter to confirm. Line select 6 for our runway, twice. Alright, so I'm going to choose runway 35 left. For 35 left, enter. And my flight plan, it has the barn 1 departure, arrival, and barn, enter, select. And then we're going to go ahead and choose our approach now. I'm not too particular with this one. In some cases it will tell you if it's ILS or RNAV. I'm just going to choose ILS and just press enter, so it's the Nagi. It'll bring it in anyways, so whichever one you choose. Real life, you would know which one to choose if you are a real pilot, or if you know it for sure. I'm not a professional, so I don't know it for sure. I do know that it will follow it to the correct runway, so I'm not too particular with it. But if you are, you can go ahead and choose what yours is. Go ahead and press select, enter, and you are now done with planning the route part of your FMC of the flight plan. And so next what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and choose our altitude. And for our cruising altitude today, we're going to choose 130 for our altitude, 13,000. Press enter all the way down. There we go. And you've got that set. So when we go over autopilot, I'll show you how that works with the altitude. Next, we're going to go ahead and press the plan button. We have for reserve, I already said it already, but what you're going to want to put in is 800, so 800. Enter. And then for this page, you want to go all the way to 6 out of 6, and choose for your payload. This is where the payload sheet really comes in. And what you're going to do, let's zoom in on this thing a little bit. There we go. Hold on, let me get it centered. That's good right there. Alright, so what we want to choose is we want to add up to figure out our payload, our ACM, our full weight, our aft, pod, closet, and yeah, that's what you want to add up. And so for me, it's just 35,000. I've already set it in. But for you, if you added something else, you can go ahead and add those in, and it'll automatically put in your gross weight along and adding up your fuel and all that. And it's pretty much all automated. As I said, this is older, so it's not as automated as the new versions. Like if you were to go in Airbus A380 or 737, you know, those are pretty much, they fly themselves. And as I said, pilots are pretty much babysitters now. Overpaid babysitters, of course. So now what, we're all done with it now. So, yeah, we're all done with that. Next, what you can do is when you have that sheet open, you're going to look at that. We have 20,424 as our gross weight. Just practice putting things into the FMC, and you'll get it. It's pretty easy, and you can play around with the payload and all that. Alright, so see you guys around in the next tutorial. Alright.
Every day we're survivors, so forget the day. It's all